Welcome back to Red Hood right here at Comicstorian. My name is Benny and I'll be your narrator for today. Red Hood and the Outlaws is a series that came out with the New 52, sticking it between Red Hood Rebirth and the original origins of Red Hood. It told a story of Red Hood, Arsenal, and Starfire as they tried to find their way in the world of superheroes as the Outlaws. To catch you up in a hurry, Jason Todd has recently had his memories removed, turning him into an amnesiac individual because he wanted the darkness removed out of his life. Well, it was connected to everything in his memories. To find his way, he went off to the League of Assassins, where they asked him to lead them in their upcoming war against the Untitled. Starfire and Arsenal were approached by the Untitled, and they want to get Jason out and prevent this war from happening as well, it would seem. The storyline's been going on here every Sunday at Comicstorian, and the playlist is down below, so I hope you guys enjoy, and let's begin. Later in the evening, after Bronze Tiger told Jason that he would be leading the League of Assassins, he meets with Jason telling him that the costumed heroes fight to maintain a broken system. They refuse to cull the weak and the wicked. He once saw how broken this world was, the kind of justice it truly needed. He will soon see that again as he leads the League of Assassins. Jason asks, "Why are you doing this?" And Bronze Tiger says that Talia al Ghul had a plan for him from the very beginning. She saw his potential greatness. They all do. That is why she revived him in the Lazarus pits, and Jason shakes his head. She was the one who brought me back to life? That's so strange to say out loud. Talia al Ghul revived Jason Todd. Roy once told me, no, I don't want to talk about my friends. They lied to me about my life, and they tried to set me down a darker path. But then again, how is leading an army of insane killers any better than what they offered? I don't want to be a killer. That's why I left my friends in the first place. Bronze Tiger tells him that if he wants to do good, real good, then they can arrange that here. Meanwhile, over in the South Pacific, Starfire gets to work on a machine, and as she finishes the last-minute adjustments, she says that they're going to try this again. As she presses the button, the machine behind her winds up, and there's a loud crackle sound. An essence is pulled out of her smoke form and falls to the ground. Starfire asks if she's okay, and Essence tells her that she is not just some pet to be simply plucked out of thin air, you arrogant! Starfire yells, wait, just listen. Essence turns back, hitting Starfire with a blast and knocking her into trees, but Starfire returns with a blast of her own, telling her that she didn't bring her here to hurt her, but she can certainly be persuaded. Essence begins to wrap herself around Starfire's arm, and with one shift, Starfire flips Essence over her shoulder and slams her into the ground. Starfire then says that they both care about Jason. She can sense it in the air when they were all together. Dukra, the Untitled, the League of Assassins, they all have Jason in their sights. Why? Why does everyone want him? Roy was enlisted by her brethren to destroy the seals of the Assassin City. In exchange, they would allow Jason to live. And Essence shouts, asking, and he said yes? This is bad. Very bad. If the Untitled break through the walls of the Eth Eleban, nothing will be able to stop them. Ever. Elsewhere, in a garage somewhere, Roy screws in the last piece of his massive gun, stating that should boost them up to 600 terawatts. Any more, and he'd need some kind of backpack fusion generator thing. Drakkar says that is rather impressive. Their associate did not believe that he'd be able to do this without his alien friend. And Roy takes off his goggles, telling them, yeah, well, after spending a few months with advanced Tamaranian tech, you're bound to become a little creative. Drakkar goes on stating that their associate says that it's time to strike. Is everything ready? Roy shrugs. I could spend a little bit more time tweaking the mini robot programming, but hey, no time like the present to kick some assassin butt, right? Drakkar agrees, telling him that the Untitled will uphold their end of the bargain. They will allow him to take Jason, but he must destroy the gates and the seal on top of the fountain at the heart of the city. Fail in that regard, and if the assassins don't destroy him, they will. Roy quietly tells him, right, great people. Always meeting great folks in this line of work. Back with Starfire, Essence tells her that there has always been a balance, good and evil, the All-Cast and the Untitled, but everything is falling apart. Her family, the All-Cast, she knows their lust for power. She can fight it within herself, but it runs deep and dark. When they found the Will of Sins all those millennia ago, her uncle Drakkar forced them to all drink it. There has never been such a powerful darkness in this world. They still don't fully understand it. They all still fear it. It is capable of stripping them of all of their power permanently, and it wants to take back what it gave them. and it is at the center of the storm that is coming. Starfire asks what the Well of Sins has to do with the League of Assassins, and Essence explains that everything starts with Ra's al Ghul. When she first met him 500 years ago, he came to the Acres of All to learn the untold secrets of the Lazarus Pits that he was already using to prolong his life. He had a devil's tongue and he charmed his way into Dukra's heart. She trained him for a while and ultimately entrusted him with something that she had kept secret for thousands of years. The Lazarus Pits are remnants, runoffs of a far more powerful source. They are the children of the first and most powerful Lazarus Pit, the Well of Sins. Ra's al Ghul told her that he would create an army to protect its power, but he would never use it for himself. For centuries, that was the case. The Well of Sins sat untouched under his protection. The seal has bound the All-Caste to the League of Assassins. The truce between the All-Caste and the Untitled extended to the League as well. To strike Eth Alben would be an affront to the balance of good and evil in this world. But by killing Dukra and her pupils, the Untitled will have proven that they are no longer interested in keeping that balance. Starfire asks if there's no other way to defeat the Untitled. There is only the Well of Sins. And Essence goes on stating that she had the essence of pure life implanted in her body, a weapon that she planned to use against Drakkar. She was forced to expel it before she was ready. Dukra knew another way though. It took her a millennia to build the technique. She used it to strip the powers of the Untitled from herself. She offered to teach it to her, but when it was declined, Dukra exiled her from the All-Caste. If Roy destroys the gates, the seal, the Untitled will rip the fountain apart. There will be no stopping them. She must stop him from succeeding, even if it means killing him. A short while later, just outside the gates of the League City, Roy stands as a literal one-man army, armed to the teeth, and says to himself, "All right, buddy boy, the cavalry's arrived." Just a bit away, though, Drakkar watches with the rest of the Untitled, and a robed man stating that he can feel it. "It has begun." The robed man says not to be certain, not yet at least. Helping the League is an amnesiac superhero trained by the woman who has kept him and the Untitled at bay for almost 10,000 years. Drakkar scoffs, telling the man that they are desperate. They will fall. Their night will weaken them and they will deliver the killing blow. While the man-bat assassins fly towards Roy, Roy releases his Roy bots, yelling, "Fly, my pretties, fly!" Dozens of small balls begin to fly into the air, shooting tranq darts into the horde of man-bats. But then the Blood Mage makes his move. The Blood Mage tries to attack, but as Roy's shields activate, he laughs. "Ha ha! Look like I can handle this!" The Blood Mage asks, "Do you really want to dance? I'll lead!" Roy charges in, knocking Blood Mage over and throws an ice grenade, freezing him in place, telling him, "I took this one from Mr. Freeze! Sit back and watch the fireworks!" Blood Mage tells him that he'll be watching the next part real close. And just then there's a gunshot and a bullet bounces off of the shield, and Roy asks what was that. Cheshire teleports down, telling them, "Hello, sweetie. Didn't expect to see you again so soon. Just need to grab onto this little shantytown shield generator." As she pulls her arm back, she takes with her a small device, crushing it. And Roy says, I'm pretty sure shantytowns can't afford shield generators like that. But don't worry, I got something special for you. See, I learned a little bit about you, like the short-range teleporter implanted in your wrist that allows you to come and go. Just know that this is only roughly 75% personal. As Roy's gloves spark up, he grabs a hold of Cheshire's wrist and he releases an electrical charge, shorting out the teleporter in her wrist. Cheshire pushes him off, asking what did he do? Someone, anyone, help me! At that moment, she teleports away uncontrollably. And Roy says, "Okay, now to make everything go boom." He focuses his sights on the fountain in the middle of the city, but Jason jumps down, telling him, "You gotta stop this, now. You have no idea what you're dealing with." Roy asks, "Is the guy with no memories really telling me that I don't understand?" That's rich. Jason goes on telling him, "I'm here because I want to be." And Roy asks, "Oh, they brainwashed you now? These are bad guys. They have assassin in their name, Jason." Roy jumps down, kicking Jason back, telling him, "I'm here to save my best friend. He's locked up inside that pretty little head. Now sit back and enjoy the show." He charges up his gun, aiming it at the fountain, but that's when Starfire flies in, destroying the gun, shouting for him to stop. The gun explodes, knocking Roy away, and he asks, "What? Abandoning me and Jason wasn't enough? You came to rub it in!" She floats down, telling him, You do not understand. The Untitled are manipulating you. Roy then says, I am getting tired of everyone telling me that I don't know what's going on. But a voice calls out, so are we. Rictus appears behind Starfire and she quickly turns back, grabbing, asking, do you really want to do this? As Starfire lights him up, Rictus laughs. I can increase and decrease my density whenever I wish, and I can increase it so much that even an alien as strong as you can't lift me. Soon, Starfire's arm begins to shake and suddenly the weight of Rictus overpowers her and the two go crashing into the ground. Roy begins to get back up, stating, I'm gonna get us out of here. I could still save. But before Roy could do anything, Jason walks up with the rest of the League of Assassins telling him, I'm sorry. Didn't have to be like this. Jason and the others take turns at beating into Roy, and Bronze Tiger delivers the final blow, knocking him into the fountain. Roy climbs up one of the stone spikes surrounding the fountain, telling them, that's not fair, but I still got one more trick up my sleeve. Literally, well, kind of literally. Crack-a-cathoom! He takes out a small crossbow and he fires a bolt into the fountain. The bolt soars into the air, and when it hits the fountain, it bounces off. But that's when we hear it. Crack-a-cathoom! The massive explosion blows apart the fountain, revealing the well of sins bubbling where the fountain once stood. Shiva grabs Roy by the hair, asking, did you know what you have just done? We will all be dying today because of you. And Roy asks, yeah, good. Couldn't happen to nicer people. As the other League members surround Roy, Bronze Tiger yells out, that is enough. We don't have time to mess around. Slit the intruders' throats. We have a war to win. Jason stops him, telling him, now, if I'm gonna lead the League of Assassins, then you're gonna have to listen to me. And we are not killing these two. Bronze Tiger begins to state that Ra's al Ghul would never, but Jason stops him. Ra's al Ghul is not here, is he? And being leader, I do what I please. Shiva scoffs, folding her arms, telling him, this is ludicrous. And Roy laughs. Haha, you should listen to the boss, man. But a few moments later, Blood Mage runs in yelling, they're coming. I can feel it. The Untitled are here. Jason tells Bronze Tiger that they'll lock these two away. Talia brought him back for a reason and he's gonna figure it all out. And if he doesn't, they can kill him. Deal? Bronze Tiger says that if he doesn't obey, they all die. And Jason shrugs, yeah, pretty much, what do you say? As Roy and Starfire are taken away, Bronze Tiger then asks Jason if he's ready. Can he lead them to victory, then onward to bring utopia to the world? Jason then says that he really hopes so. He has no idea what he's doing. And this all feels like a terrible mistake. But at that moment, his hands begin to glow as the all blades form and a voice tells him to take a deep breath. Everything is going exactly according to plan. Jason looks at the twin swords asking who the hell is talking to him. And Shiva says, great, our brainless leader is hearing voices and materializing swords out of nowhere. This bodes well. Bronze Tiger asks if he's ready, and Blood Mage points off in the distance, stating that he sure hopes their fearless leader can figure it out, because it looks like it's time to save the world. Assassin style. And that is our next conclusion to this overarching Roy, Starfire, Jason versus the all Untitled and everyone else situation. I hope you guys have been enjoying the storyline, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit our Patreon to get early access, and hit that like button. And we'll be back next week with more Red Hood.